During the Click It or Ticket campaign, we're joining with law enforcement from across the state to save lives. Thank you for your support.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Runge, Administrator of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. At the outset, I want to thank you for everything you do, night and day, every day of the year, to make our roads safe for me, my wife and kids, and for everyone in America. We at NHTSA are working diligently to make our highways and vehicles safe, but we can do nothing without you, our law enforcement partners. You truly are on the front line in our war against injury and death on the highways. I deeply appreciate your efforts.
As the president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, traffic enforcement programs are one of my most important initiatives this year. Click It or Ticket is a special traffic enforcement program of a short but intense period when seatbelt and child safety seat violations are strictly enforced. This program is supported with public information and education, including paid media. The Click It or Ticket message is very direct. If you don't wear your seatbelts, you will get a ticket.
Seatbelt mobilizations play a significant role in increasing the national seatbelt use rate. Using the Click It or Ticket approach in 2000 and 2001, seatbelt use rates were boosted by up to 20% in several states, and the model worked well in states with both primary and secondary seatbelt laws.
As a local law enforcement officer, you are faced with many different types of activities: criminal, traffic, and service. You may not view seatbelt enforcement as important. We have to remember that seatbelt enforcement is not about writing tickets, but rather saving lives. We have seen many times where a person receives a ticket for either not using their seatbelt or not putting their child in a safety seat. They begin buckling up and then are later saved by the belt.
Child and vehicle occupant safety are good guy issues. It is completely unimaginable to see a child killed because a guardian, parent, or adult fails to securely fasten a child in a seatbelt or child restraint apparatus, but unfortunately it happens every day. Years ago, as an officer working the street, I remember so vividly investigating traffic crashes where children were killed because they were unprotected in a vehicle. If the parents aren't properly buckling up their children, then law enforcement must be willing to force them into compliance by issuing tickets. We have to be the protector of these children.
In New York State, we recognize that the #1 reason people were being killed and injured on our highways was that the victims were not buckled up, and we were determined to do something about it. In 1999, we started the Buckle Up New York campaign to unite law enforcement agencies statewide in a zero-tolerance approach to seatbelt violations. Since then, seatbelt use statewide has been measured as high as 88%, a 14% increase. More importantly, 141 fewer people died on our highways in the year 2000 as a result. As a police officer, there is no greater reward than that.
A number of my fellow sheriffs don't get involved in traffic enforcement because they believe it will hurt them politically. In my county, it's just the opposite. My county expects me to enforce the traffic laws, to make a gallant effort to reduce the number of people who die on our highways annually. So I think my fellow sheriffs should look at that and believe that they'll get the support of the community if they do enforce the traffic laws.
It is extremely important that minority groups understand the reason for high visibility enforcement programs such as Click It or Ticket. We in the enforcement arena know that this campaign is not about writing as many tickets as possible, but more about saving lives. Remember that traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for African Americans through the age of 14. They are the second leading cause of death between the ages of 15 and 24, surpassed only by homicides.
Professional traffic stops are the backbone of any effective traffic safety program. To be effective in traffic safety, we need the support of our communities. To gain the support of our communities, we need to treat everyone we stop with dignity, with respect, and courtesy.
Motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for Hispanics from 1 to 44 years of age and are the third leading cause of death for Hispanics for all ages. The media play a major role in announcing to the public that it's unacceptable to be unbelted and that you are actively enforcing the laws. They need to understand that you would much rather the person to voluntarily buckle up, but if they don't, they are prepared to write a ticket. The public information campaign for Click It or Ticket will support your enforcement effort.
In Illinois, a media campaign was developed to target 9 geographic regions statewide using radio and television PSAs and billboards. The media messages were designed to target motorists ages 18 to 34. Each 2-week occupant protection enforcement wave was to be preceded by a 2-week media blitz, including a news conference and radio and television PSAs. High visibility enforcement was scheduled to take place concurrently in all 9 Illinois geographic regions. As a result of the Click It or Ticket campaign, overall seatbelt use in Illinois has increased from 65.9% in 1999 to 70.2% in 2000. Media exposure resulted in more than 200 individual news stories throughout Illinois' 3 major media markets.
When we implemented the Click It or Ticket program in Florida, we increased seatbelt usage 9 percentage points. A fact worth remembering is nearly 200 lives are saved for every percentage point we raise seatbelt use nationwide.
We in Alabama had a special interest on increasing seatbelt usage among our teenagers. We kicked off the Click It or Ticket mobilization with a pep rally atmosphere. Cheerleaders from high schools, along with high school bands, were used to deliver the message to buckle up. They developed cheers specifically for the Click It or Ticket mobilization. We encouraged competition among schools to determine which schools had the highest belt use rates, and awards were given.
A number of states that have a secondary law for seatbelt violations have implemented the Click It or Ticket program successfully. In these states, it is important to remember that in every traffic enforcement contact, whether it is writing a citation for speeding or running a stop sign, that the officer also cites the person for any occupant protection violation. If you are in a secondary law state, that does not mean that seatbelt usage is any less important.
Many small law enforcement agencies combine their resources with state, county, and local agencies in conducting enforcement activities. This enables them to participate in more traffic safety programs without creating an additional financial burden.
Crashes happen 6.3 million times a year. So the chances are good that if you change the seatbelt behavior of the people who are entrusted to you, you really will save a life.
The International Association of Chiefs of Police have taken an active role in promoting seatbelt use. As an association, we recognize the importance of high visibility enforcement. Remember, since September 11th, about 20,000 lives have been lost as a result of traffic crashes. Most of these could have been prevented. All of us in law enforcement must continue to enforce traffic laws in order to save lives. Remember, click it or ticket.
The National Sheriff's Association and my fellow sheriffs are involved in traffic enforcement that deals with seatbelts and child restraint seats. It's very important in our efforts to save lives and to protect our community.
The National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives realizes that enforcement of the seatbelt laws is necessary to increase seatbelt usage, and we participate in efforts to ensure that those laws are enforced in a fair and equitable manner, and we lend our support to other organizations and agencies who have developed training in conducting professional traffic stops and diversity.
The State Association of Chiefs of Police encourages you to participate in traffic law enforcement activities. The Click It or Ticket program saves lives.
On behalf of HAPCOA, the Hispanic American Police Command Officer Association, please join us in support of the Click It or Ticket program.
Enforcement works. Take it seriously. Every ticket you write is potentially one less death notification you or another officer will have to make, and one less family that will have to endure the lasting grief that results.